How's it going, everybody? Welcome to vlog number 8. So this is going to be kind of a long one because it's covering the beginning part of break and I want to talk about what I did so far, but we'll get there in a minute. To wrap up the end of the last week of classes, it wasn't terribly eventful. My phone did die, and I don't mean like the battery died, I mean like it's crapped out, it's died, and I need to revive it. I think what happened was it didn't have the space to update apps, but it tried to anyways, so the memory's too full, and that made it freak out, and the screen just stayed on, and I couldn't do anything to it. I couldn't restart it, I couldn't even make the screen turn off, and I didn't want to just force the battery out because I was afraid of damaging something, I don't know what, but I just didn't want to mess it up, so I waited for it to die, which for once took forever. It seems to die pretty quickly otherwise, but the one time I needed it to, it took forever. And because of that, I had to switch to using my iPod as an alarm, which was not very successful. I got up one day in time for class, it was fine, but I believe it was Thursday that it was supposed to go off and didn't, so I missed music because my alarm didn't go off, and luckily my other class was just canceled, which was very fortunate for me. But yeah, that was kind of a great way to kind of kick off break. Not missing class, but one being canceled, and then tutorial was the last thing I had to do, so I was like, yeah. I was really excited about it, because Fridays I don't have classes anymore because I don't have citations. So on my first day off on Friday, I really didn't do a whole lot. I just took the time to sleep as much as I wanted and be really lazy. I watched some YouTube, and that was really... Oh, I did go down to the West Sands though, so I wasn't a complete, I wasn't totally lazy. That was really cool though. I got some really pretty pictures, which I will slideshow as I'm talking, but it was really nice. It took me about 2.5 hours. I left around 3 after lunch, and I walked down to the West Sands and walked all the way to the end, to the point, as far as I could go, and I saw nothing. It was a beach, it wasn't like a cool black sand beach or anything like that. It's just a regular beach. It was a nice enough day. It wasn't too cold. And I found some cool shells. And I found actually a crab's arm. I don't know if a seagull didn't feel like finishing eating him, or if the crab gave up his arm hoping to save the rest of himself, because crabs will do that sometimes, which is pretty bizarre, but I'm pretty sure their arms can grow back, so it's also not a big deal for them. I'll have to look into that. But I did find that, and so I got some cool pictures, found some cool stuff. Emma, the girl I've made friends with, she's a geology major, and so I found a cool sandstone and brought that back for her before she left for break. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I walked all the way down. Oh, and on the walk back, I didn't walk the beach all the way back. I walked up a dune and found a path. And I found some sheep, found black sheep, and got some pictures of them. Once I finished walking the West Sands, I walked to Tesco's so I could go to the ATM and get money because it's spring break. And I've spent a lot of what I brought, cash that I brought. So I went ahead and did that and walked back just in time for dinner. It was like 5:30 and dinner's at 5:45, so that was really good timing. After dinner, I watched Pokemon 2000 and took a nostalgia trip, and I started to watch the Pokemon movie after that, the third one, but instead I decided to watch Blackfish for the first time, which was really interesting. I neglected watching Blackfish previously because I didn't want to be swept in what they were trying to push as what they perceived was happening, because I knew it was about orcas and stuff like that, but I don't know, I just didn't want to get into the hype and then find out later that maybe they did some bad research, or, I just didn't want that to happen. I wanted to have a basis of knowledge so I could watch the documentary and be able to kind of verify, like, oh, I remember learning about this, or that sounds like, baloney. And at this point, I've taken marine biology, and I just finished taking the question of culture in cetaceans. So I was like, I feel like that's a pretty good basis, to assess from. So I gotta say, not a lot was off. My only real criticism of Blackfish was the fact that there were some things that they stated as facts that are still points of research, and we don't really know a whole lot about. But other than that, I even tried looking for articles arguing against Blackfish, and I tried looking for, anything to contradict what the documentary said, and just like there wasn't anything solid. It's pretty sound, which is really sad. I especially feel bad for the trainers because they go in wanting to just work with these amazing animals because they love them, or for whatever reason. That's usually a good one to them and seems positive, and then they just don't realize that SeaWorld doesn't know how to manage their animals and chooses not to understand that there are certain things you've got to keep in mind when you're working with them. And so many trainers have gotten hurt or killed because of that. For instance, they made a statement that they sometimes separate mothers and calves for medical reasons. And first off, I can't think of any medical reason other than the mother rejecting the calf for separating a mother orca and her calf. I can't think of a good one. They're incredibly social and intelligent animals, and they're matrilineal, and the daughters never leave in the wild. The daughters don't leave their pods. And so tearing these family groups apart, these core groups apart, is just so tragic, and it's really damaging. So they try to say that they're doing this to keep the social structure healthy, but that's just it's complete bull. There's zero ground to that statement, and it just blows my mind that they're so caught up in, I don't know, money themselves, ignorance, and that they're just destroying the lives of these orcas, and it's really sad. There was a trainer that was interviewed for Blackfish, and he's now done his own book and a couple other interviews, and I was reading an interview, and he was saying the best thing that SeaWorld could do would be to stop the breeding program and let the final generation of calves that are born be the last ones in captivity, and let the older generation be in like a big sea pen, so it would be much larger than the tanks they're in now, which are way too small. And they would just be able to experience the ocean and live their lives without having to perform every day and, be stressed for the rest of their lives. So I think that would probably be the best thing, because none of those animals could go back into the wild. They just wouldn't survive. They've been trained, and they've been doing what people tell them to do every day for lots of them for their entire lives. It's just really sad. But I recommend watching it. Blackfish isn't like an SPCA commercial with Sarah McLachlan singing in the background trying to get you to cry and feel bad. It's just a statement of fact. They interview these people who have had these experiences, whether it's trainers, or they even interviewed one or two guys who actually caught orcas for SeaWorld. And it's just a statement of their experiences. The creators of the documentary obviously pulled from the interviews they performed to make a coherent statement about, well, not even statement, just make the documentary coherent in what these people experienced with SeaWorld. But there's no narration or intermittent like propaganda trying to push their point of view, because it's not a point of view, it's what happens. It's what has happened to these people. And it's really eye-opening. I really do recommend it. So it's sad, but it's important. So I think you guys should watch it if you haven't seen it already. If you have seen it, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. or message me, whatever, either way. Saturday was Dallas and I's first day out on the town for break, and we went to Edinburgh, and it was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It was considerably larger than St. Andrews. If I had to compare it to anywhere I've been, probably it reminded me not in structure or anything, but just in size. I think of Atlanta would be my best basis of comparison. It might be a little smaller than Atlanta, but it seemed bigger than Richmond. I will have to look that up and see if that's anywhere near accurate, because I'm not sure. But it was bigger than St. Andrews, and there was like an older part of town and a newer part of town. We were mostly shopping in the newer part of town, but we did walk over to the older one, and we got to see, we saw a bunch of cool stuff. First off, it's Edinburgh's an old city. And there were lots of cool structures that I'm really not sure what they were. They looked like crumbled parts of cathedrals or statues, or there were lots of different things. And there was also a castle, which I didn't realize it was a castle until I got closer, because it just kind of looked like some old buildings that were grouped together. And I got a cool picture of it from nighttime, actually, was when it kind of looked like it all belonged together. And that was really cool looking. We didn't get to go because we went a little later than we intended to, so our time was limited. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We went there to shop because Junior Week is this week for Sweetbriar, and what that is, I think I actually explained this when I was talking about the closure in the last vlog, or maybe it was the vlog before. Junior Week is like, you get a secret senior and they tell you the theme for each day of the week and what you're going to dress up as. So Dallas and I still get to do it, and it's really great. I'll talk more about what we're doing each day a little later, but that's why we were in Edinburgh, so we could buy things for our outfits, for our costumes. And it was really fun. We found this place called Primark. I've never heard of it before. It was recommended to me by an alum. When I saw it from the outside, like the glass front, I wouldn't have gone in there if someone hadn't have told me to, because it kind of reminded me of H&M. It just seemed like it was going to be kind of like 20 pounds and higher, like not super affordable. But I went in and it was really great. I got a ton of stuff. I got 3 t-shirts for $2.80 each, and I got a Game of Thrones t-shirt for like £7, and it was super great. And I'm really glad we went in there. Dallas got some good stuff too. She actually got a leather jacket for like 14 or 15 pounds. It was amazing. So if you're ever shopping in the UK, check out Primark, man. It was great. Great deals. After we went into Primark, we walked around a little bit for a while, trying to find other places to go. We didn't really find any other deals that were good, and we didn't even really find other things we were looking for. So even if it wasn't just like, oh, it didn't meet our budget, like, it just wasn't what we were looking for. We went to this place called Yo Sushi for dinner, though, and it was so cool. We walked in, and there was an escalator to go to the upstairs. Downstairs was only if you were getting food to go. And it was really a really cool layout. I've got pictures and maybe video of what it looked like. But there was like a sushi bar and a couple tables, but it was mostly bar seating, and a conveyor belt with different items, and the color of the bowl determined the price. So there were only like 5 or 6 different priced items unless you ordered something off the menu. But it was just like this conveyor belt of sushi and Japanese food, and it was so great. I ended up getting, I think I got like a sushi off of the conveyor belt, okonomiyaki, which is like a cabbage pancake, which sounds gross, but it's super delicious because there's a bunch of stuff in it. It's not just cabbage. It's like a savory pancake with cabbage, and I think bacon was in it, and a couple other things, and then they drizzle, like, I don't think it was teriyaki, but some kind of brown sauce that was similar to teriyaki and Japanese mayonnaise. It is so good and super filling. I definitely recommend it. If you haven't had it before, definitely get that. It was super good. And I also got, oh, I wanted to try, they had a thing called a matcha roll on the dessert menu. So I tried that, and it was kind of like, it actually just kind of tasted like, I don't remember what they're called or if there is a name for them, but I've had things like pumpkin rolls before where it's just like spongy cake and almost like a cream cheese, like swirl kind of rolled up. It was like that, but green because of the matcha, but it didn't have a strong taste, so it just kind of tasted like the filling. But it was still good. It wasn't like dry or anything like that. So if you ever see a Yo Sushi, I would check it out if I were you. If you like Japanese food, or do whatever you want. I don't know. Don't have to take advice from me. I was sad though because I wanted to do the dungeons in Edinburgh, and I don't exactly know what it is other than kind of a haunted tour because a bunch of stuff happened in Edinburgh, specifically during the Black Plague. That was a major center for medical innovation, but also it's a large city, so there were a lot of deaths. And so it's kind of like a spooky tour of literally underground Edinburgh. And so I really wanted to do that, but unfortunately the bus was what kept me from doing it because I thought the bus schedule said that buses ran until like 11 at night, and we ended up having to leave at I think it was 8:30, and I was really unhappy about it. I mean, on the bright side, we got back to town, to St. Andrews at a decent hour, but I really wanted to do something. Or I really wanted to do that specifically. Sunday was kind of a lazy day. I kept meaning to do laundry all weekend and it just never happened. But on Sunday, just kind of hung out and then showered. We tried this barbecue place in town. It was almost like an American barbecue place, but everything was just like slightly different. So Dallas and I both got pork butt platters, onion straws, which was like essentially if you tore a blooming onion apart, it was like fried onion bits. It was pretty good. And mac and cheese. And so like the mac and cheese was made with white cheeses instead of, in most places in America, you're going to get either yellow cheese or a blend of different kinds of cheeses. And so like it was good. Slightly different though. And the barbecue sauce was like almost like a sweet chili barbecue sauce. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like the best comparison is like in America, barbecue sauces tend to be a little smokier. Typically, you can get tons of variety, but just typically, and it was very good, and the portions were huge, which is what I was really excited about. That was a really delicious place to go though, and I was really happy we went there. It's literally called barbecue though. I don't know if there's some other title that's not on the sign, but it just says barbecue on the building. So that was where we went for dinner on Sunday. And then afterwards, we decided to treat ourselves a little bit and we went to Janetta's Gelateria. It's like Cold Stone or just kind of like Brewster's. It has a ton of flavors. If I had to guess, I'd say like 30. And they're all really amazing. I haven't had one that I didn't like so far. Well, there was one that I didn't like that much, but I didn't actually have it at Janetta's. It was somewhere that served Janetta's, so I would still be willing to try it again. It was really, really delicious though, and I actually got a bowl with 3 scoops. I got chocolate, pistachio, and I got Weymouth whiskey, which sounds gross, and I don't like whiskey or scotch. But it was a delicious combo, and I would totally get it again. It was really weird, but really, really good. And so we did that. And yeah, after that, we just kind of hung out in my room and watched Markiplier. That was it. Yesterday was Monday, so it was our first day for junior week, and it was Disney themed. And I had to dress as Bambi, and Dallas had to dress as Flower from Bambi, which is Little Skunk. And it was a lot of fun doing the photo shoot. We're gonna have to do really low-key outfits for our junior week because, well, essentially we don't want to look like social pariahs walking around in full-on costumes. We're in a city, not just on a campus, so everyone would just kind of assume we're crazy. And also, it would be considerably more expensive to do full-on costumes, and then we would have to trash them. We wouldn't be able to bring them back because it would probably be too expensive to ship. So we're doing what we can, but it was really fun. We went to we went to the Butte building on South Street because, well, actually, our secret seniors are giving us locations, but they told us to either go to like a wooded area or to the Butte Museum, I believe is what it's called. But it's by the Butte Medical Building on South Street. And so we went, and there are patches of tulips around just in the grassy areas of St. Mary's College, I think, or St. Leonard's. I don't really remember. I think it's St. Mary's. There are like several colleges that are part of St. Andrews, and all of that is in an enclosed space. It's like psychology and neurology is in this area over here, and etc. I'm getting a little off topic, but we went over there, and the museum, the Bell-Pettigrew, that's what it is, Bell-Pettigrew Museum in the Butte building, is where I almost had a class before I had to drop it. But it's this really intimidating room just full of a lot of taxidermy. Oh my god. It's just full of a bunch of taxidermy animals. And so we took a couple pictures in there, and those turned out really funny. And we also took pictures outside in the grassy area because there are a bunch of tulips and a bunch of other plants because there's actual flower beds as well as just like tulips in the grass. I don't know if they're planted or wild, actually. They seem like they don't belong there, but also, why would they plant tulips just in the grass? I have no idea. What was really cool, though, after we got our pictures, we were wrapping up, and these ducks just got closer and closer to us, and so we ended up taking some pictures with and of the ducks, and they were really cute. It was a male and female mallard mating pair, and they were the cutest, and they got super close to us. I think at the closest, they're like 3 feet away. Pretty close though, so that was exciting, and it was fun. After taking pictures, we went to this bookstore that I actually don't know the name of. I actually can't think of the name of it, but, oh wait, I have a receipt because I bought some stuff. Okay, so it's called Topping and Company, and we always pass by it. We only went in there once towards the beginning of the year, I think to ask for directions. But we went in there because there's free tea and coffee for browsers. And so we went in. Dallas wanted to read the first book from Lemony Snicket's series on Unfortunate Events, just to kind of have a nostalgia trip, and I don't know, it's an easy read when you're 20 and you've already read it before. So she wanted to read that, and I read, well, I didn't finish it because I've been working on it for a while now. It's kind of ridiculous. But the second Outlander book, Dragonfly in Amber, I believe is what it's called. I was working on reading that because I really want to finish it before the second season of the show comes out. And it was so cute. We got a little tea service. We went to the checkout counter in the back of the store and asked for tea. She said, okay, I'll come find you. And we were like, okay, and looked for our books. And she was like, okay, I'm just going to put it over here. And it was this cute little tray, and it had a teapot for two cups, 2 saucers, 2 little Biscoff cookies, a sugar bowl, and a little like cream pitcher. And it was just so cute, and it was really nice. We were in there, I think, for a little over an hour, and it was a good time just to be able to sit and read in a nice quiet area. It was good. We went to the dollhouse afterward for dinner. We had been there once. I think I mentioned it, I think it was about 3 weeks ago now. We went there for breakfast one day. So we decided to try it for dinner, and it was still pretty good, but I think it's better for breakfast. I got chicken and black pudding, and Dallas got fish and chips, I think. It was very good though. But yeah, that brings us to today, because today is another Tuesday record and post day for me, because I'm lazy, essentially. That's not true. Well, it's kind of true. What happened was I didn't want to record until I cleaned my room up because it was just pretty bad. It was pretty bad. There was a huge pile of dirty clothes that had extended from my overflowing dirty clothes bag, and I just wanted to pick up everything before I bothered recording because my desk was a mess, and that was a mess, and if I tried to move anything, the background of the video would probably have been a mess. And so I just didn't. I wanted to wait until I did laundry, which didn't happen until today, coincidentally. So that is why that is happening. Today I didn't really do anything except clean, so not much to report on for today. Hopefully I'll get back on my regular schedule of record Sunday, edit, and post. So fingers crossed that that happens. In the meantime, I hope to take this break to do a lot of Let's Plays. And because I'm not going to be able to travel as much as I originally anticipated, because it turns out train tickets are not as affordable as I was led to believe, which is really unfortunate, but I'm still going to get to do some really cool stuff, so I'm excited about that. But you'll find out about that when it happens. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button or send it to a friend. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so, and thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!